What's up, guys? It's your boy Prom Rush here, back with R. I had to check if my mic was working, but we are here for our BDL Draft Recap for you guys to show you what we drafted. Content from this will be coming soon. I know I've been lacking on the draft side of things content, but it's coming. I promise you. So I promise you, it's coming. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. But we're here for a draft recap of the team. It's super duper exciting. I finally get to use two mods that I've been wanting to use for a while, and it hits stupid hard. So we're gonna go through. I'm not gonna go into draft order that I drafted them. I'm just gonna go like my mega, and then my tier 1, tier 2, tier 3s, tier 4 and tier 5. Actually, I need to change that on the layout real quick. Hold on, you should see a little change in the layout in like a tad bit. I'll be back in a bit. There we go, and we're back. So we're gonna start off first with my boy Mega Venusaur. Now, I've been wanting to use ever since I have Venusaur has been like my first starter ever in Pokemon. Used him back in the day. Thick Fat is really a good ability. Poison Grass is pretty decent typing. So the mons that can hit Mega Venusaur for like hard and stuff like that are only Psychic types and Flying types, which is really good because I think I have decent counters to the rest of Psychic and Flying. But this overall team is going to be really good to satisfy Mega Venusaur, I hope. But base 80 HP, nope, not you, Siri. Base 80 HP and speed is really nice. We're going to use this more as like a bulky mon, mostly in games, to try to counteract other people's hard-hitting mons. And it's just hard for this thing to die. In all honesty, it's just super hard for this thing to die unless you have good flying stab or a good psychic stab. It's really gonna be hard for this thing to die. So hopefully I could just grab the aura that TRT had and TBA and use Mega Venusaur hopefully in that same fashion. Because in TBA, his TBA team was super hard to kill Mega Venusaur because he had good things that went around it. So hopefully I could do the same with this particular team in particular. But Mega Venusaur is great. Has access to Weather Ball if I ever want to set up Sun for myself. It has access to obviously grass moves like Giga Drain and things like that. Sludge Bomb for Poison Stab helps me out against fairies a ton in this particular game. So I think Mega Venusaur is going to be really good and a very integral part of our team this year. And I mean, it's a little different playstyle mega for me. It's more of a bulky mega, which I'm used to running more offensive megas and things like that. So I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, Mega Venusaur's coverage is basically grass, ground, poison, and in the weather, it could be like water, fire, just depending on the weather. But I mean, we'll see. Hopefully it turns out well. But yeah. I mean, that's it for my mega. I mean, let's go to our tier 1, which is the mon that I wanted to draft off rip. This was the mon I wanted to draft from the beginning. I had a plan for my tier 1 and my tier 2, which I thought my tier 2 was like one of the best tier 2s in the game. Easy. And then my tier 1 I wanted because I dropped it in TBA, and the guy who picked up Dragapult, Critic, made it to finals. So, you know what? It is what it is. We're going with my boy Dragapult in tier 1. Dragapult is so versatile, so good. Speed is ridiculous, so you could put bulk in different places. 120 attack and 110 and 100 special attack is super good. All 3 of its abilities are really good as well, with Curse Body, Infiltrator, and Clear Body. Clear Body to help you not get touched by Sticky Web and things like that, or stat drops. You have Infiltrator, which helps you versus screens, and then you have Curse Body if you want to run like a Curse Body Hex set, or if you want to run like a support Curse Body set with Dragapult with like Will-O-Wisp Hex with Spell Tag is really nice. You can run this thing DD with Dragon Darts. And I know I'm looking down. I apologize. I'm just trying to think, but like, all right. So, Dragapult. You can run this thing DD with Life Orb, Lonely Nature, and you can also add fire covers to it to also hit steals. It gets access to Dragon Dart, Steel Wing, Phantom Force, Shadow Ball, Flamethrower, Hydro Pump. I think like Will-O-Wisp, Hex. Like, this is probably one of the most versatile mons on my team. If not, I think it is the most versatile. Dragapult is going to be super nice just for the fact that its speed is so high, its attack is nice, its special attack is decent, and you can use the multiple sets around it. And people are going to have to prep for it because of its speed tier, and since there's so many different sets you can run on it. It gets Sucker Punch for attacking ghost types that are faster than it and might be Scarfed. It gets access to Shadow Ball, U-Turn, one of my pivoters on my team, which is going to be really nice. And then just Dragon Ghost Stab on both sides is really nice to have in this type of meta, because ghost types are really hard to handle in this meta with the lack of pursuit, and there are dark types, but once you get past a certain amount of dark types, they're not as good. Like you have like good tier 2 and tier 3 and tier 1 dark types, but then once you get to like the 4 and 5 range, it's kind of lacking. Rather than if you go to fighting types, the only type of fighting type that you go for is like a Terrakion or a Keldeo or like a Conk or something like that in like tiers 1 and 2 for if you want like a really like add-on fighting type. But they have good fighting types all around. Like Mienshao is good, Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, Hitmontop is good. You have Hariyama in tier 4, like all those mons like that. So just the typing is really nice. It's also a good spin blocker for me. Dragapult is, so I'm really excited to use this mon. It's gonna be a lot of fun to use, and I'm just happy I get to finally use it for this season in BDL, so I can see for myself how good Dragapult is. But speaking of fighting types, my next tier 2 is Konkkeller. I picked these guys up back-to-back rounds in this draft. I picked up Dragapult with my first pick. I picked up Konkkeller with my second pick because I wanted to build a team around these two mons because they hit so freaking hard. Konkkeller is a beast. Flame Orb Guts Conk is probably one of the scariest wall breakers in the game, and it was only tier 2. I had to pick it up. The reason it was only tier 2 probably is because of his special defense and speed, but all the rest of the stats are good. Over 100 HP, it has 140 attack and 95 defense, which is really good for a fighting type. It gets access to Mach Punch, it gets Facade, which hits everything really hard. Knockoff is really nice. Drain Punch to get recovery. You get the punches and things like that. You can run Earthquake on it if need be. Just overall, this mon is going to be one of the pivotal wall breakers on my team, and just it hits really hard, like really hard. I've been enjoying using Conk in Nat decks and like mocks and things like that, so just being able to look at this mon and know the type of coverage it gets and how hard it hits, I feel like it might be a good mon for me. But it just depends on how it is, because I kind of see Conk as like my Melmetal in ISL, and while I like Melmetal, I just don't like its speed, because usually it has to take a hit before it can actually deal a hit, you know what I mean? So hopefully I can play Conk a little bit better than I did Melmetal in ISL, and just pray that we rock out, because this one is going to be really fun to use. The next mon on my squad is going to be Cinnaroar. It's Cinnaroar. I picked up a fire dark type. I'm halfway there. Or I'm over the hump for my fire water grass core at the moment. But Cinnaroar is a really good pivoter with U-turn and parting shot. Its typing is amazing for giving me a dark type, which is, I think Cinnaroar is one of the top tier dark types, personally. And this mon with knockoff, flare blitz, parting shot, U-turn, you could do a power trip. You could do a power trip set with it as well, and you can even run this thing special. Its special attack isn't terrible. It's base 80. You can run this thing special if need be. But just having utility knockoff, just having parting shot, it's really good bulk overall. You can run it AV, you can run it heavy duty boots, and just having intimidate as his ability is super good, because you can come in on mons that usually, you know, that want to hit hard, but they can't because of intimidate, and then the Cinnaroar's bulk just backs it up. You can parting shot out, so then that mon's at -2 attack already, and then you can bring out one of your mons, set up, and then sweep. Like, Cinnaroar is a beast that way, and getting momentum, knocking off items, being a good utility mon in that fashion. So I'm excited. So like I said, like Cinnaroar is a good mon. I've used Cinnaroar before, so I mean, let's just see how it does. Let's get it. My third pick, or my second pick in tier 3 is interesting, because I wanted a mon that was fast. I wanted a mon that could hit hard, that was another wall breaker, and I was like, you know what? Let's go Swallow. Swallow in tier 3 was a steal to me. This is probably the mon that I've been enjoying the most to use. Swallow is amazing. The Scrappy Boom Burst does stupid damage to so many teams. You could run Modest on this thing because this thing has 125 speed, and it could generally outspeed a lot of the mons in the field. I think at Modest it can outspeed every mon that's not base 110. I think it gets outspeed by Pokemon that are base 110 speed that run a Jolly Nature for it, which sucks for it, but it outspeeds the majority of the Ultra Beasts, which is good. Because I think the fastest Ultra Beast I think is Kartana at 109. I want to say, but again, Swallow is just disgusting. I haven't even got to how we actually have a Guts core with Konkkeller and Swallow. Konkkeller and Swallow are both Guts mons, which means that if they get status in any sort of way, aka like a Flame Orb or a Toxic Orb or things like that, that means that their moves get boosted and their attack gets boosted. Or not their moves get boosted, but their attack gets boosted. Facade is the move that gets boosted, but their attack is boosted for the case of this. Swallow's a little like, Swallow's weaker than Conk with Guts, but it still hits really hard with stab flying type moves, and also hard normal hitting moves. Like I said again, Boom Burst and Heat Wave hits really hard on the Scrappy side. I'm just excited to use this mon because, in particular, you don't know what set is gonna come for that week. Because one week I can bring Boom Burst, Scrappy. The other week I can bring Facade, Quick Attack Brave Bird. You know, and you just don't know how to prep for it and things like that. So that's gonna be a really exciting way to use Swallow in that sort of fashion. Like, it's gonna be a really fun mon to use, man. Really fun mon to use. The next mon I have up is that I need a ground type. I need a rock resist because I really didn't have that many rock resist, and rock types were kind of hurting. So I picked up Claydoll in tier 4. Now Claydoll helps me out a lot. It gives me a stealth rocker, which I didn't have yet. It gives me a spinner, which I didn't have yet. It gives me a teleport mon, which I didn't have yet for momentum. The mon has really good coverage. Speed is pretty good at 75. Its speed ties, I think, with Florges. I want to say in speed tier. its attacks are not all that great at 70, but they're good enough to throw out hits to do damage with. So I can put them in range on my other attackers. But the main thing I was looking for was defenses. 105 defense and 120 special defense is really, really, really good. And also being ground and psychic type with levitate, it's immune to the ground type, so I don't have to worry about those. And then also being immune or being resisted to rock types is really, really nice. And being able to hit things with good psychic coverage is also really, really nice. So I think having Claydoll there really, really helps the team and supports the team with that, with stats, with hazard stacking, hazard removal, and also being resistant or immune to those rock or ground types. So Claydoll's move pool is super wide as well. Claydoll gets Ice Beam, it gets Psychic coverage, it gets Earthquake and Earth Power, it gets Scorching Sands now, which is a new DLC move that both, I think Claydoll, I think a Cinnaroar gets Scorching Sands too. I don't know why they gave me Cinnaroar and Scorching Sands, but hey, they got it. Yeah. Claydoll with Scorching Sands is going to be really, really fun to use, because if I burn them on, that's going to be so helpful for the rest of my team that it's just going to work out. The next mon that we have up is my tier 5, which I wanted to Wish Pass on this team because it helps out with my other walls. It helps out with the Cinnaroar a whole lot because it doesn't get recovery usually with its items that it uses, and Claydoll, it helps with Claydoll as well. So it could be offensive sometimes too. So we drafted Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan is a good Wish Passer in tier 5. I think it's one of the best mons in tier 5 personally. With base 90 speed, 95 attack, it gets Scrappy as one of its abilities, so it could hit ground type, or it could hit ghost types. So I have 2 Scrappy mons on my team, so no ghost type is safe. And also that 105 HP is just really, really helpful because it's one of the highest on my team. So I'll be passing off fat wishes to the rest of my team, which is going to really, really help out a lot. I can see myself, Kangaskhan was one of those tier 5s that I could actually see myself bringing one week and doing well with it. With his speed tier, it's not too terrible that I could actually scarf this thing, or I could band it, or I could just bring in a support wish passer with seismic toss. You know, overall though, I think Kangaskhan is going to be really, really helpful for this particular team. And being able to wish pass, being able to have good coverage, being able to be a band or be a scarf at a time, with its speed tier and then also its attack. You know, I feel like it's going to be one of those mons I can bring to maybe like 2 matches, and if it does work in there, then that's really what I needed it to do for the season. So I'm glad I picked up Kangaskhan. I'm really happy about that. And I mean, now we get to the free picks. So for my first free pick, I picked up Colossal. I needed more hazard removal. I needed more hazards. I needed a rock type to resist flying, because I had no flying resist at this point. I had 2 mons that are weak to flying. So I picked up Colossal. Colossal helps me out with flying resist, both on the special and physical side. It has base 110 HP, which is the highest on my team. Its speed tier is kind of lacking, but it makes up for it in going for rocks, makes up for it going for spin, it makes up Will-O-Wisping, just a really good utility mon. It does what it does. It also has access to spikes, which is another form of hazards for my team to utilize. So now we have 2 stealth rockers, a spiker, and 2 spinners, which is really, really good hazard removal in my opinion for right now. And being able to stop fairies is really, really good for this type of meta, which Colossal does extremely well. Depending on the matchup, fairy types don't really hit Colossal all that hard with their stab moves, because since it's a fire type, it resists. So we do have a good fairy resist in both Venusaur and Colossal, which is going to be really, really helpful for us in this game in particular. We're not in this game in particular, but for the whole season. You get what I mean. Um, Next mon we picked up Alcremie for one of our free picks. This was Colossal was a tier 4, Alcremie was a tier 4. So in BDL you got 400 free points to make your free picks. So both Colossal and Alcremie were tier 4s, which were 60 points each, I believe. So if you do the math, 60 times 2, 120, 400 minus 120, that's 280. So we have 280 left. So we picked up Alcremie, gives us a fairy type on the team, and it's a good low tier fairy. I think it's one of the best low tier fairies, in my opinion. I mean, with its 121 special defense, 110 defense, you know, its speed is lacking, but it's a pile of cream. Come on. 64 speed is not bad. It's not bad, but I mainly wanted to use this thing as getting a fairy mon. A lot of my higher picks, I picked up other mons that I needed or I want to use, so I didn't really get a chance to get a high tier fairy, but I did get Alcremie, which, you know, I can't complain with. Alcremie gets Dazzling Gleam. I don't think it gets Moonblast, which stinks. It does get access to setup like Acid Armor and Calm Mind and stuff like that. It does get access to Mystical Fire, which is really, really nice in this particular meta for fairy types to have, because steel types are an issue. So having Mystical Fire really helps in that sort of fashion. And just being a setup mon with Calm Mind, Recover, it also gets Draining Kiss as well. I mean, this thing has decent coverage for a low tier fairy, and it's not bad at all. So, I mean, I'm pretty excited to use it. In particular, you know, I think it's gonna be a really good mon. Actually, I'll probably pull these mons up on Smogon. I mean, not on Smogon, on the thing, on the thing they call Showdown. If y'all haven't used Showdown, you should probably use Showdown. But yeah. Let me look at Alcremie's moveset real quick to tell y'all about Alcremie. It's also a cleric. There we go. It's also a cleric that gives you aromatherapy and things like that. It has access to screen, psychic coverage, and recovery, draining kiss, and recover. And it could also use new moves like Misty Explosion if it really wanted to. It could use Misty Explosion if it really wanted to. So, again, pretty excited to use Alcremie. Don't know how it's going to go, but hey. With a lot of these mons I haven't even used. So, there it is. The next mon I have used before, which is a tier 3, so it costs 100 points. So, if you do the math, 280 minus 100, that gives us 180. So, for tier 3, we picked up Napoleon. I have used Napoleon before, and people hate Napoleon. I don't know why. People hate Napoleon. People hate, well, I just say people hate Napoleon. People hate on Napoleon. There we go. People hate on Napoleon, just for the sheer fact that if it's typing, and it's not really considered a bulky water, but it works out. So the Fire Water Grass core is complete, and also the Dragon Fairy Steel core is now complete. So now we have all 4 core, or we have both cores on the team, with this one mon in particular being the Cohesion. It gives me another Stealth Rocker and gives me another Defogger on my team, and gives me a Defogger on my team, except for Swallow, and it's a more reliable Defogger than Swallow, because I would never run Defog on Swallow any week. That thing will be offensive close to any week I bring it. But Napoleon could be a good AV mon. Napoleon has a wide move pool with ice coverage, water coverage, grass coverage, steel coverage in particular to help with fairy types. It also gets knockoff, great utility mon, and that is defog. And being all 3 of my hazard setters being able to get rid of hazards as well is huge. I actually really like that about my team. I actually like that about my team a lot. Talking over with some people, all my mons that put up hazards can also take them off the field. If I put defog on there, which I think is a really good thing to free up a lot of my other mons from having to run defog or spin or whatnot. And it also puts pressure off on them. If I want to bring both of them a certain week, then one mon doesn't have to run one mon can run like an AV or something like that, while the other mon can run both stealth rock and spin and then coverage, you know. So I think that's going to be really good for my team with Claydoll, Colossal, and Napoleon, both all 3 of those having that type of synergy together. And then Napoleon's special attack is really nice at 111. So even if you don't put a lot of special attack into it, it still hits like a truck. Well, I wouldn't say hits like a truck. It still hits pretty hard. I mean, it has better special attack than Alcremie, so that should tell you something. But speed tier is decent at 60. Its defenses and HP are really good. This thing will probably most likely be a SPDEF wall, special defensive wall, once the time comes, and things like that. But I'm just excited to use Napoleon again. I really like using Napoleon. Napoleon to me, I really like using. For some reason, I like it in DLU, because so DLU, I have a rain team in DLU that I picked up Napoleon in, and I've really enjoyed using Napoleon in DLU. So I feel like I'm gonna enjoy it in BDL. So yeah. But last but not least, as you see, we have 180 free points left, so I went ahead and picked up another tier 1 mon. And with that, we picked up Thunderous T. We picked up the boy Thunderous T, great ability in Volt Absorb. And also, I would like to talk about my mon's abilities real quick. So we have a Thick Fat Mon, Infiltrator, and Curse Body, and Clear Body. We have Guts, Sheer Force, and Iron Fist. We have Intimidate, Blaze. We have Scrappy and Guts. We have Levitate. We have Scrappy again. We have Flame Body, Flash Fire, and we have Steam Engine. I think it's Aroma Veil for Alcremie, because it can't get taunted and stuff. That's what it is. And Napoleon with Defiant is a beast. And Torrent, but then also Thundy T, and his ability is great synergy with Napoleon. Thundy T's ability is Volt Absorb, which helps Napoleon so much because people are going to be scared to go for electric moves. That just makes Napoleon more bulky as it is, and it helps Swallow as well for people wanting to go for electric type moves. Thunderous T can eat those up and dish out a 145 special attack stacking 145 special attack stat Thunderbolt off on anybody, and it's disgusting. Its coverage is crazy. Sludge Wave, Focus Blast, Grass Knot, Thunderbolt, Dark Pulse, and it gets access to U-turn as well, like Dragapult, Swallow, and Thundy T having access to U-turn is really nice. Claydoll with Teleport, things like that. Cinnaroar with U-turn and Parting Shot as well. You know, you get good momentum with this team, and you let the breakers come in like Thundy T and Thundy T, Konkkeller, and things like that. That could just come in, pivot, and dish out a massive hit. Like, this is another Scarfer I could use in Thundy T. I could use it as a Scarfer with this 101 base speed. It outspeeds a lot of the base 100 mons. It also has access to being a Specs mon, E-Belt, Life Orb user. It also gets access to Nasty Pot as well, and Agility, which it could use a lot in its dual dance sets, because I think it gets because I think the dual dance set is like Nasty Pot, Agility, Thunderbolt, and then coverage for whatever it needs that week. But it's a really really good mon. Its defenses are kind of for this typing and the mon that it is, but it's basically just here to punch holes and punch walls in people's teams. And it has actually really good synergy with Konkkeller in particular because Thunder T is weak to rock types. Konkkeller covers that. Konkkeller is weak to flying types. Thunder covers that. And then they're both kind of weak to psychic. Konkkeller in particular. But Napoleon and Claydoll deal with that really, really well. So I feel like this team is going to be really, really cool and fun to use. It's offensive, and I like offense. So we're going to see how it goes in BDL this week, in BDL this season. Again, shout out to Bubba, Zeros, and Grummy, my boy Grum. Shout out to all of them for inviting me this season into A-League and being able to participate in their draft league. I really do appreciate it. And the week 1 battle I already did, so I will upload that with the recording of the team builder and the live comment stuff like that. I just didn't get to doing the draft recap because I've been having things going on. But again, shout out to Bubba, Grum, and Zeros. Man, y'all know Bubba from the Soul Link, so y'all already know how Bubba is, man. But I really do appreciate y'all guys for letting me in. And you know, it's time to have fun this season. You know, I'm excited to use Dragapult. I'm excited to use Konkkeller. I'm excited to use Swallow. I'm excited to use Thundy T. And then just all the rest of the mons I think piece really well together in what I could use. So hopefully we have a good season. My week 1 battle should be going up sometime this week, so just be on the lookout for that, guys. But I think that's it for the wrap up for the draft. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you smash that like button down below for me because you already know sports greatly appreciated. We are up to now, I believe, 120 subscribers, which is amazing. I appreciate y'all guys for that so much. More content is on the way. Soul Link is starting to finish up, wrap up. We are getting really close to story time in Soul Link, so I'm pretty excited about that. So y'all know content is coming on the channel. Hope y'all are excited for BDL, and you know that I love you. Peace.